first do it, it turns out okay. I hear an echo. But anyways, welcome.
It's all good.
To Talking Time with Caffeine, the only podcast where we talk about whatever we want to while we drink some caffeine. Anyways, today, returning for the first time in months, is my guest, Eric, the Triceratops.
Well, I go by two names, either Eric Vierthaler 92 on my primary channel, and then on my secondary channel, I go as Eric the Tyrannoceratops. It's a combination of a T-Rex and a Triceratops.
He has been busy getting his education in order.
That I have. I officially begin college in January. I'm going to be going to MSUB. I am going to college to become a paleontologist. I start geology classes, which is one of my prerequisites. I started that in January, and I'll be going on until April. So yeah, I haven't been on your channel since I believe last time I was with Tony Reed when we were talking about science deniers. I believe that was my last time.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
But yeah, definitely all the times where it was me, you, and Tony, on for Talking Time with Caffeine. That was always a lot of fun.
Yeah, I see. Last week or so, you've been reviewing your videos from like 20 years ago.
Oh, well, more so 10 years ago. But yeah, it's somebody left out as a comment on one of my YouTube videos saying that, hey, wouldn't it be cool is if you look back on your old videos? And I thought, hey, my primary channel is old enough now where I actually could do something like that. I mean, I've been on YouTube now for 11 years, so I thought, yeah, it is old enough now where I can do that. And holy crap, talk about a blast from the past, seeing myself from 11 years ago when I had the emo haircut and all of like these metal band posters in the background from back when I was a hardcore metalhead. I mean, I do like metal still, but I mean, back then, that was the only thing that I would ever listen to. And so, yeah, I mean, talk about showing how much has changed ever since then.
During my emo phase, it was pre-YouTube, but it was in the late 90s. That was different. I wore all black to listen to country.
Wait, you went through an emo phase where you listened to only country?
Well, it was I don't know.
That's interesting.
It was depressed. I wore black. It was very depressing. I was depressed. I was very depressing mood that mode. Like, whatever.
That's really interesting.
Yes, I'm like, yeah, life sucks. Let's listen to country.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's because most of the emo kids would listen to all of the emo bands and whatnot. So that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I was a weird kid.
But yeah, I mean, of course, I went through that phase too, where I was saying, "Oh, my life sucks," and so.
Hey, we have a guest star.
Oh yeah, Simba. Hey, Simba. Which is actually ironic because we're here talking about the Disney remakes, and we got a little bit off topic, and so yeah, introduce yourself, Simba. Go. Good boy, Simba.
He a year old yet?
He's actually going to be turning 4 on the 16th. He's a good boy, huh, Simba?
So he's almost. I forget how old that is in dog years. Like
so dog years, it's human years just times 7. So 4 times 7 would be 28.
So he's older than you now.
Yeah, in a way, yeah, he is, and it's kind of a weird way to think about it.
Yeah.
So the Disney remakes. Are you a fan of them?
I was for a few of them. I think the first I didn't know at the time, but I think the first Disney remake I remember seeing was the Dalmatian one.
Yeah, yeah. That I believe was actually their very first live action remake, but that was made at a time before when Disney went crazy over them. But yeah, I saw that one like once on TV a long, long, long time ago. I vaguely remember it, but however, I do remember seeing the sequel in theaters. I saw that one with my mom. I saw it only once,
Yeah, me
and it's
too.
a very, very forgettable movie. And so
All I
I
remember
said
is
enough.
some. All I remember is some kind of bell or something. I think reawakening Corella's passion for killing dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit that the casting of Cruella Deville in that remake was actually a pretty spot on casting. But other than that, that remake's pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
And I believe the dogs in that one they don't even talk. While compared to the in the original where they did.
I do. I gotta admit, at the time, next remake I remember watching it. I did kind of like the strange twist they put on the Sleeping Beauty remake.
Yeah, wasn't that with Maleficent?
Maleficent. Yeah, where they turned out that hey, she's not this a bad person after all.
Which I haven't seen those movies, but I will give credit where credit's due. At least that they try to do something different with it. At least they try to put a twist on it. And versus beat for beat the same thing that we've already seen. So I mean, if you're gonna do a remake, I mean, there really is no point to make it beat for beat the same thing because why not just watch the original then?
Yeah,
So yeah,
this is like what they did with the Lion King remake.
oh boy, we'll get to that one later. I have a lot to say about that one, but yeah, and another good example of a remake that was beat for beat the same thing was the Psycho remake. Did you ever see that one?
Well, I never saw the original, so
Well, the original is so much better. The remake had
all I know,
fun.
all I ever saw was at least I am not a fan of blood and stuff. So when I saw the thing about the
Right.
shower blood, I'm like, nope, 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 nope.
Do you just get anxiety watching horror films or something?
well, well, that and little bit of that, but at the time, also back ago, anytime I saw blood, I just started feeling sick.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely see why that you're not really a fan of horror films, but I bring up the Psycho remake because beat for beat, it was pretty much the same movie, and so then it's like, what's the point? I mean, like, why not just watch?
With
Why not just watch the
same,
original?
same movie with worse actors.
Yeah, and they added a scene where Norman Bates masturbates because that's what we all needed, right? But yeah, did you ever see the Jungle Book remake from 1994?
94, I thought it came out more recently.
Well, there are actually two live action remakes. There was one made in 1994.
No, I did not see that.
But yeah, I saw pieces of it, and yeah, I mean, it's all right, I guess. But yeah, rather than having the animals talk with their mouths, it's more a voiceover. It's kind of more like Homeward Bound.
Okay.
But yeah, but the 2016 remake, I will admit that I think that that's the best remake that they have ever done because that one was more based off of the original book and it was based off of the Disney version. I felt like that they combined both of them very, very well. I thought the CGI was great. The acting was great. The animals looked realistic, but yet they weren't too realistic because of the fact that even though they looked real, they were still able to emote. You were able to tell what they were feeling. My only complaint about the 2016 Jungle Book is that it seemed like it didn't know if it wanted to be a musical or not, because with that part with "I Want to Be Like You," at first he was talking the song and then he started to sing it. But yeah, and the fact that there was no musical opening during the movie, because musicals usually always open up with a song. And Bare Necessities, it was more of like a hymn, and so
like a church choir, like a church hymn.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, at least I had the Bare Necessities, because it just wouldn't be the same to have the Disney Jungle Book and not have the Bare Necessities, and not have "I Want to Be Like You."
I don't know. I just can't see. I just can't see that. I don't know. That's for a reason. That still sounds weird to me. That song and like a old fashioned hymn song. I'm like that sounds weird. Was it weird?
It was, and I mean, I was happy that they had the songs, like I said, because to me, that's like having Indiana Jones without the Indiana Jones theme. It just wouldn't be the same. But if you're gonna have the songs, I mean, might as well just make it into a musical, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense to me. But yeah, so I'm assuming that you've seen the 2016 Jungle Book.
I have not. I haven't really seen that Disney remakes. To be honest.
Which ones have you seen? That
Dalmatians, Maleficent, and Lion King.
Oh boy, Lion King! I got quite a bit to say about that. But yeah, I did see Beauty and. Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was because I wanted to see Beauty and the Beast because at the time I had a crush on Emma Watson.
Oh yeah, well, I definitely have to admit you got pretty good taste, because Emma Watson is pretty hot. But yeah, the Beauty and the Beast remake, Emma Watson is actually one of my complaints, because the fact that she can't sing, and while when you could compare her to Paige O'Hara from the original, like who had great vocal range, it definitely was a big downgrade. It's like, if she can't sing, can't you at least dub her? But yeah, I'm assuming that you have seen the original Beauty and.
Yeah. Of course, it was a lot late. I just see it was a lot later when I saw it, because at the time when it came out, I was like, I think I was like 8 or something, 8 or 9.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a girls' movie. I don't want to see a girls' movie. So the first big Disney movie I saw was Aladdin. Like, so that was the first like guy main character. Like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, girl movies.
But yeah, a lot of people do feel that way, and I can totally get it. But yeah, when I was little, when I would watch the original Beauty and the Beast would scare the crap out of me, and it was because of that was why I could never finish the original as a kid, because the Beast scared the crap out of me. And that's one of my complaints about in the remake. So in the original, the Beast goes through this character arc where he's more aggressive, he's more angry, and then at the very end, like, he becomes more kind and whatnot. Yes, there was still that character arc in the remake, but I didn't like how in the remake he's not as scary, he's not as angry. That really took away from his character arc. And I mean, after all, he is called the Beast, right?
Yeah. Speaking of remakes, off the top of Disney real fast, have you ever watched a channel called Phaelus?
Phaelus? I don't think so.
Oh, you should check him out. He's reviewed like 5 or 6 Beauty and Beast like other show parodies. You know, not parodies, but other companies making Beauty and the Beast things.
Right? Yeah.
And it's like all different versions of it. Like they are some crazy shit. So
yeah, and from my understanding, Beauty and the Beast and all these popular fairy tales, because they were written so long ago, they are in the public domain. So pretty much that means that anybody can make a Beauty and the Beast movie. But what they cannot do is like that they cannot have any of like the Disney versions of the characters, like they can't have LeFou, they can't have Cogsworth, and they also cannot sing in any of the Disney songs. So yeah, there have been a ton of Beauty and the Beast movies.
And I don't know. Beauty and the Beast. Speaking of Beauty and the Beast and other things, when you think about some people are decisive on this, but they try to people. I hear people talk about this in the remakes now. They try to pop in modern cultural references in the movies now.
Right, which made no sense for Beauty and the Beast because that one is supposed to take place in like the 1800s, and so back in the 1800s, nobody would have known about any of the pop culture references now in the 21st century. So that was one of the stupid things about it. And yeah, and I mean, I get it that they're trying to appeal to a modern day audience, but yeah, and what I also didn't like about the Beauty and the Beast remake is that when Belle in the original decided to go back to her father, and when the Beast let her go, you could truly, genuinely tell that by his tone of voice, his body language, and that he was truly depressed. And because of that, you felt sorry for him. But when that scene came in the remake, just the dialogue just felt kind of rushed. And, and I didn't feel as sorry for him as in the original. And so rather than him roaring in pain, there was some really pointless song in the remake. Granted, the actor has a nice voice, but the song just felt pointless.
Did they use CGI in that movie, or is it all just actors?
Yeah, so that's one of my gripes, is that I think that they could have just used makeup for the Beast in the remake, but they used CGI, and the Beast looked, I mean, when in his monster form, he just pretty much just looked like a hairy guy just with big gigantic goat horns. While the Beast in the original, you could tell that there was some bison in there, there was some pig in there, and yeah, and yeah, there was a lot of CGI in the remake. Emma Watson even said that when they filmed Be Our Guest, she pretty much was just staring at a green screen, and she said that was really hard for her to act with because there was nothing physically there in front of her. So yeah, I could totally get why as an actor that would be hard.
Yeah, I'll again. I think people said best, and I agree that behind right there, that movie did the best with Jurassic Park, with
Jurassic Park, right? Yeah,
with the robotic models and CGI.
right. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Jurassic Park is one of my favorite films, is because of the fact that they balance CGI and practical effects perfectly. I mean, they would use CGI only when it was necessary. Like, say, if it was a full view of a dinosaur, that would be pretty hard, like to get a robot like to walk fluently like that. So I get why that's CGI. But if it's a close-up of its head, it's a practical effect. And yeah, I just wish a lot of movies would take note from I wish a lot of movies now would take note from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Aladdin remake.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Did you know that originally that they wanted Jim as the genie? They wanted Jim Carrey.
Oh.
Can you see that?
Mm, maybe a little bit.
I mean, he is funny and he can sing, and we know that he can sing. It's because of his part in the live action Grinch.
Yeah. Um, do you know if because like didn't was a movie like Robin Williams like ad lib a lot of his lines or something?
Oh yeah, and so pretty much the filmmaker said that like that there was so much footage like of what Robin Williams improvised, like they truly had no idea like what that they should put in the movie because they had so much to work with, and it's because of how much Robin Williams improvised for the movie is actually why that the original Aladdin actually didn't qualify to actually win the Oscar, like for best original screenplay. So yeah, I mean Robin Williams, he was the king of that. He
Yeah.
was the king of that kind of comedy.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was good. I did like the Homer Simpson genie too. He not
Right,
as good,
yeah.
but still he's pretty decent.
And what's funny about that, as a kid, I actually never even noticed like that the same guy who voiced Homer Simpson actually did replace Robin Williams for Return to Jafar and also in the Aladdin cartoon series. I actually never noticed, but it wasn't until when I looked back on it as an adult. Yeah, you definitely can tell that it's the same guy who voices Homer Simpson.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like that sequel, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. You can definitely tell that there's a downgrade in the animation. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
remember I remember enjoying it as a kid, but I
yeah,
haven't seen Return of Jafar in a long time though.
yeah. I just like the Iago redemption arc.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that I definitely would say is definitely the best aspect of that film.
But then okay, I saw the part of it. How do you think Will Smith did in the genie role?
Will Smith, I mean, he had a lot to work with. Will Smith actually said in interviews that he was very, very intimidated taking on that role. It's because that it's so beloved by Robin Williams. I th- I think that he did the best that he could. Some of the line delivery I think could have been better, but I don't think that's Will Smith's fault. I think that is the director's fault.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think he did the best that he could. But at some parts, I felt like he was trying to be Robin Williams. But but improv really is not Will Smith's thing. But yeah, and Will Smith, he's an okay singer. He's okay.
yeah.
But yeah, that was one of my turnoffs is that he's not the best singer.
Speaking of singers, I don't know. I heard this. They tried to make this into like a Bollywood thing or something.
Yeah, some parts of the Aladdin remake did kind of feel Bollywood. Like some parts of the Prince Ali song definitely felt that way. And one of my biggest complaints about the Aladdin remake, they made Aladdin a lot less likable. Aladdin in the remake, he's kind of more of a jerk. And you also don't buy the chemistry between him and Jasmine. And that's a major, major problem.
Yeah, like I think the original movie, like you saw, like he's down on his luck, but he's not like, but he's still like trying to better himself, and like he like when he hands
Right.
that bread to the two children, it's like
Right, yeah. And man, and even though it's not okay like to steal, but of course you understand as far as his character goes, that is pretty much like how he survives. It's because of the fact that he doesn't have any money at all, and so that's just his way of getting by. And which actually kind of helped to his advantage. It was the fact that when Jafar betrayed him in the Cave of Wonders, Boo actually Abu actually stole the lamp back. So yeah, so that actually helped. So that actually helped to their advantage. Hey there, Joel.
Hey, Joel.
We're talking about the Disney remakes. We are currently not talking about the Aladdin remake. I thought it was okay.
So
I mean,
what
it
do you
could have been a lot
think of
worse.
the added storyline of the genie and the handmaiden, whatever she was?
That's now I think that kind of added to. I think that did kind of add to the genie's freedom is the fact that when he became free, he did find love. But yet, I also feel like that you don't need to find love, to be happy. But I don't mind that change. Just some of the other changes that I did have an issue with, like one of the changes that I didn't like is the fact that Jafar didn't turn into a giant cobra at the very end.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that was one of the most memorable parts of the original Aladdin. And rather than them being in like that time sandbox or whatever, Jafar just lifts them up. Okay, well that makes it so much less intense. It's because of the fact that in that time sand thing, if you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
it's because of that. Is like
were the Princess Jasmine trapped in there, and he had to.
right, yeah, and it was because of that it made it a lot more intense, knowing the fact that time is, the fact there's very limited time. But in the remake, he just lifts them both up. But yeah, it's not as intense. And
Did they?
yeah,
They said the line the main line I remember the most of that movie, at least.
What line are you talking about?
When he becomes a genie, he says, "You wanted a genie, you got it. Everything comes with it: ultimate cosmic power, AB living space."
Yeah, I don't remember if that line is in there, but yeah, my other issue is the guy who played Jafar. He was very bland in the remake. He was very, very bland. While when you compare it to the original Jafar, I mean, you could tell that he was so passionate about that lamp and the fact that he would do anything.
Who was the Jafar in the remake?
I forget his name, but yeah, this pretty much was like his breakthrough role.
Okay.
But yeah, originally in the original, I believe that they asked Patrick Stewart to play Jafar. Then since then, he has said that he regrets turning it down. I feel like that he could have had his chance in the remake. I think that Patrick Stewart definitely would have been a lot better than the guy who they got. Maybe
Patrick. Say Patrick Stewart.
Say what?
From Star Trek and X-Men.
Yeah. Originally, in the original, they actually wanted him to actually voice Jafar in the original, but he said no. So that's why instead they got Jonathan Freeman. But yeah, Jonathan Freeman was perfect as Jafar, and that's why that Jonathan Freeman would reprise his role in all of the video games, the movies, and yeah, kind of intense. Listening to Robin's post. But yeah, and what's crazy is the fact that Robin Williams has been gone for almost 10 years now. Yeah, it's because he died in 2014. So in 4 more years, that was 10 years ago. But yeah, I really didn't like the guy who they got to play Jafar in.
Martin Kenzari.
That was who played him in the remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of him. He was so bland and he was so monotone. And
I looked at Jafar in the Aladdin remake, and the first article that comes up, it says Jafar is the biggest problem with the Aladdin remake.
And I definitely do agree with that. I mean, like I said, he was so bland. It just feels like that he was just sleepwalking through his role. I think that they could have gone somebody else to play Jafar, or maybe that's just the director's fault. But yeah, so I mean, but I'll give credit where credit's due. At least the Aladdin remake had a lot more life to it than the Lion King remake.
That's a second. I think next remake I heard hearing about was the Cinderella remake.
I did not see that one, but I know it's not a musical. That was pretty bold of them to do that.
Was there any, I think it's only one song I remember in the Cinderella remake, anyways. Not remake,
It's
I mean, the original, and that was the Dream song, I think.
right. But yeah, that was a pretty brave thing for them to do that. And all of the live action remakes that did have the original songs that came on afterwards, those ones were bigger hits, minus Mulan. Did you ever see the Mulan remake?
No,
I didn't see it either.
because it came out. I think because it came out during this year, and I really couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out back in March, but then that was right when COVID hit. So they postponed it. Then they just put it on Disney Plus because, well, they didn't really have a choice. And all the reviews have all said that it's really bad.
Like I said, I think that's another time where I heard that they put the modern take on cultural references in that movie.
Which is stupid. It is because of the fact that is supposed to take place long before, our modern times. And from what I've heard in the reviews of it, so Mulan in the original had that character arc when she went from like a normal everyday person to being like a badass. But in the remake, she is already a badass the entire movie, and so that takes away her character arc.
In the remakes, he is.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember the original one. She had to grow, like she had to learn how to do stuff. Like she's
right. Yeah.
She's in this world where she's like, oh, you're a girl. You have to, that's how they were trained back in the day. It's like.
Excuse me. Right, and in the remake, they decided to take that away and have it so that she's already a badass the entire time.
So what's the point of that training montage then?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And people were mad that there's no Mushu and the fact that there's no songs in it. So the reason why there's no Mushu is because that China got really offended by Mushu is because of how it's a comedic take on dragons. Personally, I think that they're just being overly sensitive about it. It's like, come on, just get a sense of humor. And what's funny is that China actually ended up being pissed off about the Mulan remake anyway. So they kind of screwed themselves there.
Yeah. What about the Dumbo remake?
I did not see that one. I heard it was not that very good.
Yeah,
and that one actually didn't do that very, very well at the box office. But yeah, going back to Mulan, if they couldn't have gone Eddie Murphy back as Mushu, I could definitely see it being Kevin Hart. But yeah, did you see the Dumbo remake?
No.
I don't think a lot of people did. What about the Lady and the Tramp?
I didn't know that one was out yet.
Yeah, that one came out like a year ago. That was the first Disney remake after Lion King that I said I'm not going to watch this because I'm done with these Disney remakes. People were saying, "Oh, give it a chance, give it a chance." But then it got bad reviews, and I'm like, "See, told you so." And even the same thing with Mulan, that got bad reviews too, and I'm like, "See, this is why."
Do you think? Yeah. Speaking of remakes, do you think You think is it the, you think it's the script, the director, or live performers can't do the same thing as cartoons?
But yeah, I feel like there's just some things that just don't work in live action that work better in animation. And to answer your question, Joel, Nightmare Before Christmas, that one's not a remake. But yeah, and to really prove my point for why some movies don't work in live action, now let's finally dig into the Lion King remake. I mean, that just proves it. And the biggest issue with the Lion King remake, the animals look so realistic. There's no emotion on their face, and so when it's during all the emotional scenes, because now that they're so realistic that they cannot emote, it really takes away, you know, it really takes away from those emotional scenes, and it makes it so much less emotional. And like that scene, like when Mufasa died in the original, that was so heartbreaking. But in the
Yeah, yeah,
remake,
yeah. That was like I think Mufasa's death scene for us growing up at that time was probably what the Bambi scene was for the past generation.
oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, even to this day, as an adult, Mufasa's death scene in the original still makes me shed a tear, and especially when he's trying to wake him up, but he obviously can't. But in the remake, they totally butchered that scene. So in the remake, Scar bitch slaps him off of the cliff. Are you kidding me? And rather than whispering "Long live the king," he freaking yells it. It's like, okay, then how in the world did Simba not hear that?
Selective hearing.
And that's one of my issues with the Lion King remake. They made the characters out to be complete idiots. Like, like with that scene, and the fact that Scar said, "Oh," when he told the prime, "Oh, I just didn't make it on time to the gorge." But wait a minute, Zazu was there, and so Zazu actually like could prove, and that Scar is lying. And the fact that during the confession scene in the remake, so Scar says to Simba, "Oh, I saw the look in Mufasa's eyes." But then Simba's mom, Sarabi, overheard Scar say that, and then she says, "Wait a minute, Scar, you told us you didn't make it to the gorge on time. So how in the world did you see the look in Mufasa's eyes?" So yeah, they made the characters out to be complete idiots this time. Yeah, everybody. The characters who you know and love from the original, they're now just a bunch of idiots this time. And that made them so much less sympathetic and less likable.
Another thing that I mentioned earlier is that I could, except for a few parts here and there, I could almost quote word for word, line for line, the original from when they were doing the remake.
Right, and the remake was pretty much the same movie. It was just not shot as well. And it was not as well voice acted. Man, the things they changed were for the absolute worst. Like the fact that they took away Rafiki's line about how the past can hurt. And what did they replace it with? Simba stating the obvious, saying, "I am Simba, son of Mufasa." Like, as if we didn't know that already? That's like saying that. That's like saying that if. Okay, that's like saying if Freddy Krueger were to be here, he's gonna say, "I am Freddy Krueger, slasher movie villain." Like, well, duh. We already knew that. And Joel, I kind of thought they were idiots before, to be honest. You kind of thought that they were idiots in the original? How so? But yeah, what were some of your issues with the Lion King remake?
Well, besides that,
It felt so pointless. It's like it's the same movie.
uh, uh, at first I was at first I wasn't sure they well, first I didn't know if they were doing if they were CGI or whatever. I'm like, are they doing real lines or something? Or
No, I mean, I'll get credit where credit's due. That does show just how good the CGI was, but I just feel like that all that effort was just so wasted.
yeah.
But yeah, Pumbaa. Pumbaa.
Oh,
Pumbaa, like as always, has meant to be kind of like the foolish character. So yeah, that is besides Pumbaa. But yeah, Pumbaa's more of the foolish character. I like for comedy relief.
Yeah, that was. Hello? Oh, I hear. That can be your mind.
I'm not hearing it.
Weird.
Any sort of echo.
Weird. I know. That was weird for a second.
Yeah, that was weird.
Anyways, one thing I remember saying out was all those extra the extra guest stars, not the extra guest stars, the extra animals in that little jungle or oasis area.
Yeah. But yeah, you're talking about the place like that Simba like was with Timon and Pumbaa, right?
Yeah.
I think that they did that to explain like that. That's what Simba like was eating the entire time, but I mean, it's obviously not supposed to be that realistic. It's because it's anthropomorphic animals. So yeah, I mean, I kind of think that you can take some liberties with that. Okay. But yeah, I wasn't too crazy about that either, because of the fact that Simba grew up like with Timon and Pumbaa. Man, those other animals, they kind of felt pointless.
It's like, yeah, I mean, the original you thought that was you thought it was just the three of them as a group, hanging out, just them against the world. But now all of a sudden, hey, it's a whole community here.
But yeah, I mean, I think that you could take that out in the remake, and it really wouldn't change anything. What I also didn't like is that one scene in the original Lion King, like when Simba's hair comes off, and then Rafiki smells it. In the remake, they totally extend that like that. You see an animal eat it and poop it out. Like, what was the point of extending it that much? Like in the original, it was only for like a few seconds, and you got the point. But in the remake, it's like a whole minute long. It's like, what was the point to that? Oh, and one of the things that pissed me off the most, what they did to be prepared.
The villain song.
Yep, the villain song. In the remake, they only had it for like 30 seconds. It's like, are you kidding me? One of the greatest villain songs of all time, and you're barely even going to have it. Really? And the fact that Seth Rogen, it's like, okay, so you have an actor who actually can sing, and you barely make him sing. But then with Seth Rogen, you give him a full-on song, and it's really clear that Seth Rogen cannot sing. It's like, is it really that much to ask for to just dub them? I mean, that was what they did in the original Lion King, like with Matthew Broderick and the voice actress like who voiced Nala. They just dubbed them, and nobody ever noticed.
Oh, that's another thing. I think I'm remembering now. If the remake, I think it's the remake. The reunion scene with Simba and Nala.
Yeah, that was so cringy in the remake. In the remake, all the dialogue just felt so rushed. And that's probably my biggest issue with the Lion King remake. the voice acting was terrible. I mean, it sounded way too monotone. It sounded rushed. I mean, didn't you feel the way about the voice acting?
Now that I'm thinking back that, yeah, I tried to block it. I tried to block most of it from my memory, but yeah.
Well, I could definitely understand why. But yeah, and
like I guess like in the original, you could tell that like, hey, they're long lost friends, haven't seen each other in forever. In the remake, like, hey,
right.
hey, how you doing? Let's go back
Right,
now.
yeah. It's like, that's just not what you say to somebody who you haven't seen in like 10 years, who you thought was dead. Like, oh, hey, how's it going? It's in the remake. I thought it was interesting how Simba has to decide to abandon. Well, they had that in the original too, is because the fact that Simba did not want to confront his past in the original is because of all the manipulation that Scar did to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was in the original.
Let's think about kids. That they manipulated him as a kid, to make him think a certain way, and I like that, and like real life too. Kids are easily manipulated sometimes. And
oh yeah, definitely. And even worse is the fact that Simba, growing up, never ever told anybody about it, which was the reason why the fact that Simba continued to believe that it was his fault, even though it was Scar's fault. And that's what I love about Scar, well, more so in the original. It's the fact that what made him such a threat is just how manipulative that he was. And knowing the fact that there's actually people like that in real life, and seeing that, like how that he not only manipulated Simba, he also did that to the hyenas. Did that to the whole entire pride. And yeah, that was what made him such a threat in the original. And then that was makes sense.
So, did you did you watch the so what was the Lady and Tramp remake like? Did you see it?
Which one? Sorry,
Lady and Tramp.
I never saw that one because after Lion King, the remake came out. It takes a lot for a movie to piss me off that much. The Lion King remake pissed me off so much that one made me rage quit on any more live action Disney remakes. So after Lion King came out, Lady and the Tramp, and I said, I ain't gonna be watching it. So I didn't see it, but I did see all the reviews of it, and all the reviews said it was not that very good.
All right. I was wondering because I think I think that's what I remember the most, because especially with I was wondering how they did that class, because I remember nowadays people complaining about that Siamese cat song now.
Right, yeah, and I do know that they did take that out in the remake. It's because of nowadays that's very politically incorrect. So yeah, they do not have it in the remake. Excuse me. But you have to understand that was just when the time when the original was made, back when stuff like that was not that very offensive. Now it is, and so yeah, it's because people are a lot more soft now. But yeah, and then when the Mulan remake came along, I did make a few posts on Facebook saying that I'm not going to be watching it. People were all saying, oh, well, I feel like that this is going to be the one good Disney live action remake. I really, truly feel that. But the problem is That's the appeal to emotion fallacy. Is because they're basing it on their feelings, not on the actual evidence. Okay, you may feel it's going to be a good movie, but how many times has it happened when a movie has a great trailer and you truly feel like it's going to be good, but then when you see it, it sucks?
What's the thing about trailers? They only take the best of the movie and put in.
Right? Yeah, like there's a lot of trailers out there where it makes it look like a good movie, but then you see it and it sucks. Like a good example of when a trailer gave away all the best parts, that Will Ferrell soccer movie called Kicking and Screaming. I remember when I saw the trailers to that, I thought it looked funny, but then when you see the movie itself, you already know the best parts to it. And also with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, if you saw the trailers to that, you pretty much already saw the movie. So, yeah, and one movie that I thought had great trailers, but then when I saw the movie itself, I thought it sucked. Godzilla 2014. I was so disappointed by that movie. Has there been any movies that you were hyped for, and then you saw it, and then you thought it sucked? There has to be one.
See, remember? I don't know. I think probably the new Star Trek movies, maybe.
I only saw the one from 2009, so yeah. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any others that you can think of?
No, off top of my head, probably will like later. Like, oh yeah, right. I can't think of anything right now. On the spot.
Oh, that's all right, man. I understand. But yeah, another example of a movie that had great trailers. I was super hyped for it, and then I saw it and I was disappointed. Man of Steel. I remember I was so excited for that movie. I saw it, and oh man, I was so disappointed.
Don't get me started on that series. Those DC movies. The only DC Universe movie that I've actually liked and saw would have to be Shazam.
I have not seen that yet, but I have heard it. But I have heard a lot of good things about it. I also thought that Wonder Woman was actually a good movie, but everything else, like Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman,
yeah, that's the other thing. I'm sure it's mentioned before when comparing Batman v Superman to Civil War. It's totally different because at least in Civil War, they build up that feud throughout several movies.
Right.
And that one, we're going right to the feud right now, right to the war.
Yeah. And that's where Marvel had the advantages because the fact that they spent years building up to it, while DC is trying to catch up to Marvel. But that's the biggest issue is the fact that they rushed it. They really should have taken their time. If they just would have taken their time, then they would have had more of the advantage.
Yeah, like oh, they just met. They hate it already.
Right? Yeah. I mean, how often does that happen? Where you just go and meet some random person, say, "Hi, my name's Eric," and they go, "I do not like you already." It's like, I just introduced myself, man.
And the way they have this thing.
Yeah, that I thought was stupid. So what? Now they're friends because her mom has the same name. Like, oh, your mom has the same first name as me. We should like totally become best friends now. Want to come sleep over? Yeah, that was lame. And so Batman is supposed to be very intelligent, but then he came into the fight like with machine guns. Okay, Batman should be smart enough to know machine guns are not going to do anything to Superman.
And also, doesn't that like take away the whole Batman isn't like killing thing that the original he's always had in the past before. I think. Or Batman.
Right, yeah, and before the movie came out, that's what I was excited for. I thought that okay, Superman killed Zod at the very end of Man of Steel, and Batman has his "I don't kill" rule. So I thought that that was what was going to lead into their feud. I thought that that would have been, I thought that would have been great for the movie, but they didn't do that. And instead, Batman was killing left and right. And I know that Batman killed in Batman '89, but
But
but yeah, it was just a missed opportunity.
yeah, but I don't think he killed. Was that on purpose? I mean, Joker was that like I remember the '89 the one that I remember part of it. It's forever ago. I saw it, but
Yeah, the one with Michael Keaton as Batman. But yeah, Batman pretty much did that like as payback to the Joker because in that continuity,
Joker killed his parents.
Right, Joker killed his parents. I actually didn't mind that change, and so yeah. And then at Batman Forever, they were hinting at the fact that Batman now regrets killing all those bad guys. So yeah, what did you think of Ben Affleck as Batman?
In the remake,
And Batman v Superman.
I never saw it. The last Batman movie I saw was the trilogy, the Deep Voice trilogy.
Ooh, Simba. You all right, dog? You all right, dog? You all right?
You good?
Yeah.
Like was he mad? Was he mad that I didn't see the remake?
I guess so. But yeah, so the only Batman movies you've seen are Batman.
I saw the original. I saw the original 4 back in the '90s, but the last one I saw was the new trilogy.
Oh yeah. Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I actually saw every single one of those in the theater on the Dark Knight movies, and
yeah, me too. And I saw. I didn't see the first 2 of the original '90s because I was too young at the time.
right.
But I saw the George Clooney one.
Oh, the one with the bat nipples.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that came out.
That one is so
came out when I was like 16, I think.
But yeah, that is often regarded as the worst Batman movie ever made, and that was the one that put the Batman franchise pretty much like that. Yeah,
I think at the time I saw it because
hibernation.
I had a like the Beauty and the Beast thing. I at the time I had a crush on the girl that played Batgirl.
Oh yeah, Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't ever see her in movies anymore.
I know. That's the thing when you're a teenager. 2 things you see like in the movies: either a good story or a hot girl.
Right. Yeah. And so yeah, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's really cheesy ice puns, and the fact that Batman was riding down that dinosaur statue as if he was Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then there's one that came before that where
Batman Forever.
Yeah, where it had Jim Carrey and God, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, the guy that played Men in Black.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That one, they were trying to make it more kid friendly and whatnot, so I understand why those villains were more cheesy and
but it's just weird that in that one I really. Yeah, I don't think he made. Was it me or not? I don't think he captured the Two-Face character that well.
I don't think that he did either. And so my problem with that movie is that so when Robin's parents are killed, Robin goes to live with Batman, but I'm like, okay, but in this continuity, Robin is a full-grown adult. So
yeah, and I never said why in that series why he hated Batman either, because he didn't catch him in time or whatever. Shouldn't he hate the guy that? Shouldn't he hate the guy that scarred him, not Batman?
Well, in Batman Forever, there actually was that little scene of when Batman, I guess, like was trying to save Harvey Dent, and then like he spilt that thing on his face, which caused his scarring.
Oh, I thought the mob
Or
guy.
are you talking about the Dark Knight?
Batman Forever.
Okay, yeah, Batman Forever. Yeah,
I thought that the mob guy threw those chemicals on his face, and Batman tried to stop him, but he didn't get there in time.
right. Yeah, man. So right, you do have a good point. I mean, Two-Face should be mad at the mob guy, not Batman. I mean, Batman was trying to save him.
I know, it's like, oh, cool. I'm but I need to play that game soon. But yeah, it doesn't really make sense. The vendetta against Batman because of.
But yeah, in my own opinion, I think that Jim Carrey would have made a much better Joker, because Jim Carrey, he just screams that part.
Is that
But
true?
yeah.
Speaking of Joker, is that true? At least at least in the modern. I don't know about the cartoon version, but is that true? They say about playing at least in the live action, that playing a Joker kind of like hurts you mentally or something.
Are you talking about the one with Joaquin Phoenix?
Well, but like the original Heath Ledger and whatever who played it in the '89 movie.
I do know that Heath Ledger got so into playing the Joker, like that he got a little bit too much into it, which is why that he overdosed.
Oh.
And then, from my understanding, there actually was a video posted like of Jack Nicholson being interviewed about it. And then Jack actually said in an interview that he actually did try to warn Heath Ledger about playing that part, because there has been a bad history of people who have played the Joker. I mean, after when Jared Leto did it, he pretty much was hated. And so Joaquin Phoenix, he seems to have it good so far.
Because I think people always say the best Joker was Mark Hamill.
Yeah, in my own personal opinion, Mark Hamill is definitely my favorite Joker. And it's odd because you never would think that Luke Skywalker would make the perfect Joker. You never would think that. A lot of people say their favorite is Heath Ledger. But yeah, people often compare Jack Nicholson to Heath Ledger. But yeah, they're two very, very different portrayals.
Yeah, well, it says some people. Let's say like with some people like with Mark Hamill, some people can have a wide range of character voices and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and that shows just how good of an actor Mark Hamill is.
Yeah, like as Joel was mentioning in the chat part series, I loved Mark Hamill did a great Master Erquist in that series.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Mark Hamill also did do a pretty good job as the voice of Chucky in the Child's Play remake too.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Was he like? I heard he was in the Child's Play. I think was he this the remake or was he the original one too?
No, Mark Hamill. He only played Chucky in the remake. But yeah, I gotta admit that out of all people, like who could have replaced Brad Dourif in the Chucky movies, Mark Hamill definitely is your best choice.
Yeah.
I actually didn't mind the Child's Play remake at all. I mean, it stays true to the original, but it's not beat for beat the same movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of all the actors who have played Batman, who has been your favorite one?
I guess it would have to be the deep voice guy.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say that he's their favorite, but yeah, from the research I've done, Christian Bale said that at the very, very end of filming days, when they'll film those movies, his voice was pretty much gone.
Yeah. I was wondering why they didn't. I don't know why he did on purpose. Why they use of like he had the technology. Why they use a voice changer to change his voice?
Yeah,
manually.
And that was what they did have. I'm in the Ben Affleck version, but I'm guessing that maybe in real life it's just maybe it's more. Maybe that you can really have a voice changer if you record it first into like your phone or something. But that's as far as my understanding goes. Maybe there is just no machine out there where you can like put on like your throat and it'll change your voice. Maybe that's why. I mean, I am definitely no expert, so I think that maybe that's why.
Because I know doing that because I remember a few years ago when I was trying to do voices for a game I was playing, and I was also singing Christmas songs at the same time for like the December thing. I was trying to sing Christmas songs, and I was doing voices for my Let's Plays, and that just wrecked my voice. I could barely speak for 3 weeks after that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like when I saw the midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises, I actually went in a Batman costume. The match was doing the Christian Bale Batman voice for the entire day. As soon as the movie was over and as soon as I was back in my car driving home, my voice was gone. And that was just for doing the voice just for one day. I mean,
it wasn't doing that for movie with not just for movie plus with retakes, reshoots.
Oh man, and yeah, doing it like that definitely can do a big. But yeah, that could definitely wear your voice out. You all right, dog?
So I guess I think we got to the Disney remix. So what's your plans for the future?
Yeah, we definitely got off topic, but
I think we got through most of the Disney remakes.
But yeah, I guess a few more things I forgot to say about the Disney remakes. For Lion King, I was really disappointed by the fact that they did not bring back Jeremy Irons as Scar. Jeremy Irons, he is just as iconic as James Earl Jones as Mufasa. And Jeremy Irons even said that he would have came back, but the guy who they got, I think he was miscast as Scar. I didn't like Beyonce as Nala. You could really tell that she phoned it in. And you could tell that she's not an actress. She's more of a singer. And all the musical scenes, now they're so realistic that they just had no life to it whatsoever. And yeah, I'll go as far as saying The Lion King is one of my most hated movies of all time.
Yeah.
And it's because of the original, is one of my top favorite films.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like the Villain song, and a lot of people like the Hukamata song. In the original, my favorite song in the original was "I Can't Wait to Be King."
Oh yeah, I mean it's hard for me to pick my favorite song in the original. I mean all the songs are so good. But yeah, I just can't wait to be king. That one is definitely a good song. And the part when they had that song in the remake, it felt so lifeless. It's because of how, how it's so realistic.
I know in the original you could tell he was a he's a cocky little kid, like like
right, and that was what I loved
like
about Simba's character arc in the original, is the fact that he went from being a little bit arrogant and whatnot in the original, but I mean, but you can give him a pass. It's because the fact that he's a kid, and
yeah, most kids at that age are like, I'm tough. I can do anything I want to do.
Right. Yeah.
Like most of us, reality hits. I'm like, oh my god, this is real life.
And then he goes through that character arc, like about him growing up, and that's what made me so mad about the remake, is that they took that beautiful character arc and they took the most beautiful movie about redemption, and it took a big crap on it. But yeah, the Lion King remake, it felt like a bunch of high schoolers, like, who just had like the budget, like for, like, who were just trying to make like a project.
You okay?
I think so. Simba, you all right? You all right, dog? You all right, dog? I hope that he's okay.
So,
yeah, sorry.
If you want, we can start wrapping this up so you can take care of your dog.
Yeah.
So before we go, do you have any future plans on your 2 channels? Future videos?
Well, I am planning new things that piss me off. I'm thinking a good topic will be people who refuse to wear a mask. Another good one. Another one I plan on doing. On my new series, Let's Rewatch My Old Videos. That has become a huge hit, so I am planning on a 4th one here soon.
Yeah. Your mask video, your mask thing. If it's on if it's on a day that I'm off work, I love to guest star on it.
Yeah, man, totally. But what I could do is that I could, maybe it won't be a live stream. Maybe you could just send me footage and whatnot, and I could try to edit the video in.
Okay. And what about your Triceratops channel? Any science stuff on that thing?
On that one, I am planning a video debunking the argument on that Behemoth is a dinosaur. But yeah, I mean, it's so obviously is not a dinosaur.
Yeah, I love that argument. I love that thing. I love the argument. They're talking about the tail. The tail is big, like a cedar tree, like the cedar tree. Those big cedar trees in America. Yeah, the cedar tree in America is good, but you know what isn't big? The cedar trees in the Middle East, where they're from.
Right. Yeah, and the fact that it doesn't say it has a big tail like a cedar tree. It says that it simply moves that way. But it's actually talking about its penis. It's because it says in the original text, his tail extends like a cedar tree. It's clearly not a dinosaur.
Yeah, but even if they think about trees, like still, it's like, yeah, you know how I'm sure those people in the Middle East saw those American trees, you know.
Right. Yeah, it does not make any sense at all.
Anyways, as for me, tomorrow I'm finally uploading the finale of my Let's Play Dr. Rupert Let's Play series, and this Tuesday is the season finale of Talking Time with Caffeine. They are break until January, February for the Christmas season. I'm gonna have the finale, 2 finales next week, so check them both out.
Well, I also am planning like Christmas or New Year's live stream on my primary channel, and so yeah, look forward to that too. But yeah, I think I might take my dog to the vet because yeah, that's kind of alarming.
I was the best, but the one as for this is the one I had no problem with really was the Maleficent one.
But yeah, the best Disney remake I've seen is The Jungle Book, and that's why it shocked me. The same guy who made the best Disney remake also made the worst one. So yeah, I said to myself, what in the world happened? So yeah, Jungle Book, the one from 2016, is their best one, but even then, that one still has its flaws.
Oh, okay. Well, hope everything's okay with Simba. Keep me updated.
Oh yeah, definitely so.
All right.
So
Anyways,
yeah, I think I should probably get going now.
all right,
So
I'll see y'all next time. Never stop learning. Enjoy the randomness. See y'all next time. Bye.
bye bye.